Operation Perfect Storm. Bringing in 2 brand new operators from Germany, this season has a targeted emphasis on intel gathering devices. Our first operator hails from Frankfurt, Germany, and is a defender named Mist. This concept was submitted over on my Discord server by Ombre, which if you haven't joined yet already, you definitely should. The link to join can be found in the description. It's always a good time to get to know and talk to my subscribers. But yeah, this entire concept is credited to Ombre. Obviously, he consented for it to be uploaded, and I added in some little details along the way, which he also said was perfectly fine. So let's take a look at Mist's backstory. Growing up, Mist had a consistent infatuation with the military and helping others, so he was ready to enlist right away at 18. He excelled over his years serving specifically in the technology and observation tools department of the military. Eventually, his intelligence and passion led to him developing a brand new source of intel gathering through small climbing cameras, which we will talk more about in just a second. Soon after this development, he would be noticed by Solis and Caveira at the age of 25, making him one of the youngest Team Rainbow operators on the squad. So now, with a brief backstory out of the way, let's actually dive into those small climbing cameras that I said we would come back to. They are called Spectre drones and are described by Ombre as the Unseen Guardian. Mist gets 3 of them to start the round, and for reference, think of them as a similar size and shape to Mozzie's pests. They can be shot or destroyed with anything that deals damage, similar to most gadgets in the game. They can also be seen with IQ scanner and can be disabled with EMPs. They're also black, so generally they will blend in with most environments on most maps. But Mist brings new value to defense that an operator like Valkyrie doesn't. Mist's drones can be effectively used as an active drone throughout the action phase, rather than a pre-placed camera that you have to wait for attackers to walk into the line of sight of. Of course, you can also use it like Valkyrie's cams and just have it be stationary, but Mist's value is found in his Spectre drone's ability to be versatile. Imagine a quick spider-like camera being able to follow attackers from the moment they enter a building, just by climbing along the ceiling. There's numerous examples of how useful Mist can be, but I think part of the fun in operator concepts is allowing you guys, the viewers, to immerse yourself in the possibilities that this operator brings to the table for Rainbow Six Siege. Now let's take a look at his loadout and beyond. Mist's primaries offer the choice between the AR-33, making him the first defender with this powerful rifle, and the M870. His secondaries are either the Bailiff or the P229. He's a 2-speed, 2-armor operator, and lastly, just as a fun fact, he is best friends with Mozzie and Maverick. Thank you again to Ombre for allowing us to use Mist in this video. I think it was a great idea. And if you want to be featured like this, just make sure you join that Discord, submit any ideas that you have, or you can just be a fly on the wall and hang out in there. Now we'll move on to our second operator of the operation. This attacker also represents Germany, although having mostly Turkish roots. Her name is Snare, and this concept was designed by me rather than being submitted on the Discord. Snare spent the first several years of her life incredibly poor in Turkey. Living on the street, Snare and her family had to constantly watch their backs from thieves and other dangerous people. Eventually, her and her family were able to migrate to Germany, where Snare was eventually able to get an education at the famous military academy of the German Armed Forces and go on to spark her interest for technological combat. Rather than most of her peers who would pipeline straight into the German military, Snare was noticed by Dr. Mira of Team Rainbow for her outstanding technological contributions throughout military school and would be effectively trained and transitioned onto the squad. Now let's look at what Snare brings to the table. Her gadgets are called Mobile Automatic Mines, or MAAs for short. It's another drone style of operator, so this entire operation concept has a theme. Snare can set up mines that will automatically activate when a defender runs through their radius. So basically the drones become the mines when they get activated. Think of it sort of like Flores' drones. When you activate it and it explodes, then they will wait for a defender to walk into their radius, and that's when they will go off. They are relatively large round discs similar to the size of a singular X-Kairos pellet, so you could set them up in the objective if you wanted to be risky, because they'll most likely get seen by the defenders. But the main goal here is to have them be used as an anti-roamer and anti-rotation device against defenders. Think of Snare as like a Kapkan on attack, or maybe just an altered version of what Nomad does. Except rather than having to put yourself in harm's way to shoot an air jab, you could just drive your drone, jump, and stick it against a wall or doorway, like how I said, similar to Flores drones, and allow it to do its work when a defender walks by it. It can't be moved after it's deployed, and Snare will get 3 of these to start the round. The mine's radius is comparable to that of a claymore, except without the red lasers that are beaming off of it. It can also be shot or destroyed with any explosive and can be detected by Solus's scanner. The mines do 70 damage to 1 armored operators, so they won't ever be an immediate kill to full health defenders. I figured this would make Snare way too overpowered. Obviously they will give off a loud booming noise, so although they aren't automatic kills to roaming defenders, you will of course be notified when someone is flanking you or rotating around the map because you'll hear the explosion. Additionally, they will make a humming noise that can be heard if the defenders stopped and listened for it near where it's placed. It's sort of similar to Nomad's air jabs, except a little bit more quiet and a little bit more subtle, but nonetheless you can still hear it if you were to stop and listen. Now let's look at her loadout. Snare brings the T5 SMG and Super 90 shotgun for primary options. As for secondaries, she has the P12 or the PRB92. She's also a 2-speed and 2 armor operator just like Mist. So that's Operation Perfect Storm. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think about Mist and Snare. What did you guys like? What would you change? Also, remember to join that Discord link down in the description, not only if you guys have operator concept ideas, but also if you just want to join a community that we're growing by the day. Besides for that, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Peace.